All right, folks, we are live. Welcome to the most recent, obviously, edition, February 26th, 2021 of What's Trending Live Happy Hour with our very special guest who's been here all week with us, but not on What's Trending. We have the Fat Jew. Welcome, Fat Jew.
What's up? Great to be here. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you, pal.
Happy to drop some knowledge on the uneducated.
I got my special background. I made myself an extra large so I don't have to get up.
Nice.
And hey, Juice Heads, let me know what you're drinking in the comments. We always like to know what people are having because this is happy hour. We're here to have a good time. We're here to inform. We're here to inform the uninformed. I just did my test on my phone to make sure we're actually working. So we're working. So that's good. So let's get to it, huh? Let's fucking get to it. So apparently, and I do like the newspaper thing, like I'm a real fucking newscaster. Apparently, we have fucking children in Congress. So Marjorie Taylor Greene, say what you will about her, she's very, I don't know, polarizing or whatever. But to me, you know, she's fighting for the right side, for all the right causes. She has a neighbor down the hall in the Capitol building by the name of Marie Newman. And she just today, or whatever it was, yesterday, 2 days ago, I didn't even know. Did you know that there's a flag for trannies?
Yes, I did know that.
I didn't even know that existed. So apparently there's a trans flag, and she put it up like right across the hall from Marjorie Taylor Greene's office just to be basically a cunt. You know what I mean? And it's like, why is that necessary? So Marjorie Taylor Greene responded by putting up like not even a flag. She put up the American flag, but she put up like in big letters
a sign that said there are two genders, male and female. I don't know.
Right.
I love that pettiness. That pettiness.
Yeah.
Because I'm the type. You come at me with that nonsense, I'm gonna give it right back to you, and you're gonna hate every second of it because they hate facts.
That's exactly right. They hate facts. Look, at the end of the day, there's two genders. I don't care what you say the science says. The science is not a person, and science is not a Democrat.
Listen, this whole fucking gender dysphoria, okay, used to be called bipolar disease, okay, and multiple personality shit. When you think you're something else, there's something wrong up there. I mean, again, if you are a child and you're not over the age of 18, or should I say 25, you shouldn't have the ability to make those decisions that affect the rest of your life. That's why you can't get a tattoo until you're 18. You don't see kids going around saying, let me get a tattoo on my cheek. I mean, you see it with fucking young rappers and shit, and people who have, you know, nothing to fucking do with their lives. But
by the way, when did that become a thing? Guys getting fucking...
I honestly don't know. Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. I don't fucking know. These fucking people are they're not even rappers anymore.
Yeah, it's insane what that genre's turned into.
Oh, it's insanity. And then I love the people that want to cancel Eminem. You don't know him since fucking 20 years ago when he's telling fucking Britney Spears what size of your tits and who sucked whose dick and shit. I mean, they don't know.
I love OG Eminem.
Oh, yeah, D12 and his first albums, they were fucking unbelievable because he spit and he told the truth and people hated him for it.
Right.
I say it all the time. If he came out now, he wouldn't have made it.
No. But at the same time, though, he probably also opened the door for a lot of the, we'll call them alternative rappers that you see, a lot of the face tattoo guys, a lot of the, we'll say, non-black people that are in rap. He probably paved the way for a lot of them. But just to get back to the infants we have in Congress and the pettiness, this was over some sort of equality bill. Can you please explain to me what needs to be put in a bill that already needs to be put in a bill to make us equal?
This bill, okay, has nothing to do with equality. If you look, like, if people who aren't woke would just read this bill, you would realize that is the exact opposite of equality, because now you're taking people and you're putting labels on them and you're putting them in a different category. So now we're not Americans. We're white Americans and we're black Americans and we're left Americans and we're right Americans. We are all American. Every freaking bill that gets passed through these idiots' hands affects all of us, not just one particular group. And it's just, I think it's disgusting. I think the fact that they're going to be okay with grown men going into little girls' bathrooms, I'm sorry, that's a little sick in my head.
And we're going to get to that. That actually is a topic we have coming up. But look, I'm all for equality. I'm all for equality of opportunity. But these sick fucks are for equality of outcome, which are two totally different things.
Right.
How is equality of outcome not racist? How is equality of outcome not everything they say that people that think like us are? I don't think you would disagree with equality of opportunity, that everybody should have the same opportunities out there.
Absolutely not. If you are qualified for the job, then you should be able to excel at that job, which is how America is right now. I mean, it leans a little more towards minorities, but we're not going to talk about that. Okay? Right. But now, even if you're unqualified for the job, and just because of your race and where you came from, you'd probably get that job first, not because you're qualified for the job. You suck at your job, but they're going to give it to you anyway because of what you look like. And
that's sort of the opposite of meritocracy. But you know what? The Chinese had a hard time when they got here. They had to blow up all those fucking gold mines. The Irish had a tough time when they came here. So I get stuff like that. But guess what? They did what they had to do. If you want to say they paid their dues, I mean, even us Italians, you know, I never personally went through a hard time, but I'm sure my ancestors did. I'm sure Jewish people went through a hard time, but they're not asking.
We went through plenty. The Jews have been persecuted since they were Jews.
Right.
I mean, honestly, and you don't see us fucking bitching about it. We got over it. We left it in the past. We're not going to go to Egypt and say, yo, you owe me some pyramids. We're not going to go to Germany and say, you owe me a BMW. I mean, what the fuck is this?
Can you imagine?
I don't want reparations. I want to know that it happened, know about my history, and make sure it never happened again.
And let me ask you a question. The Jews are like less than 1% of the population, right? In America, I mean. It's like not... They're very concentrated, like here and in Florida and I think California, but that's really it.
Yeah, the Jews don't really live in the middle of America.
Right.
We kind of like take over the outskirts. You know what I mean?
And Hollywood.
I get, yeah. Well, rich Hollywood. You know.
But but good for them. They're as far as I'm concerned, they're another group of people that came to the land of opportunity and seized on that opportunity and made the most out of it. You
exactly.
know, that's why every good stand-up comedian jokes about their agent being a fucking Jew. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But that's a good stereotype because they're rich. Hey, I wish I could be stereotyped as being rich. I'm just
I wish it was
being a jerk off. What was that?
Oh, come on. Jesus, my wife is calling me. Give me a second.
Yeah, no problem. So this is the first on What's Trending. Hey, let me know what you're drinking in the comments. I got here a Vegas-sized treat that hopefully makes it through the whole show. Because me and the Fat Jew, this is our, I think, 5th podcast together in the last week or so. We can go. The two of us can hang. So this is going to be a great episode of What's Trending. You're back?
I'm back.
Sometimes the art of the podcast is learning just how to talk about nothing, you know?
And I'm used to it because my lives are so like boring sometimes. I'll just sit there and talk to myself and then I feel like an idiot. And I'm like, I may as well do this in my bathroom in the mirror because, you know.
And here's what I like to do with my papers. I like to shuffle them around. And next trending topic we have. I saw this actually on the news last night on Newsmax. Frustrated Oregon man wants the western counties of Oregon to merge with Idaho by a man by the name of McCarter. And I'm new to this software, so I'm going to use that as an excuse for now, and it's the free version. I think I'm going to get the paid version because I like it a lot. But I'll be able to get graphics up eventually. But anywho, it basically changes the shape of Idaho to like a upside down T. And I don't blame them because the Oregon as a state, I'm sure is great for like 95% of it. And then you just have little old Portland, which is very close to Washington state in the northwestern section, fucking it up for the whole rest of the state. Sound familiar? Like on a smaller scale?
Yeah, exactly. Didn't Oregon just make like meth legal and heroin legal and like all of these hard drugs just like okay for anybody to walk around with?
So, and this actually is topical. So on election night in New Jersey, we had legalizing weed on the ballot. Now, I don't know how much I talked to you about when I first started paying attention to politics, but I, in the past, identified as a libertarian, and I still kind of do to a certain degree. The problem is the party is a piece of shit, and they're very unorganized. And you could say you're a libertarian, and you could be left of AOC. And you could say you're a libertarian and be to the right of Ronald Reagan. So the party's really not defined. And I even talked to the head of the party in D.C., but that's neither here nor there. So I consider myself a common sense conservative patriot kind of a guy. And I don't think weed should be illegal. But here's the thing. I voted against legalizing weed in the state of New Jersey, and I'm going to tell you why. Because this state is so corrupt and the state legislator is so corrupt, I knew that they would find a way to fuck it up. All right? Now, here's what happened, interestingly enough. The state voted, the people voted to legalize weed. Then the fucking state legislator, because it's a super majority of fucking slimy Democrats, not that the Republicans here are not slimy either, because they're just as slimy, but they fucking snuck in magic mushrooms into the weed bill. So guess what? So now we're heading into March, and weed is still fucking illegal because these fucking scumbags, they can't just let weed be weed and let that be its own thing. You got to be like fucking Portland, and you got to put magic mushrooms in the bill. Like, get the fuck out of it. That's a whole different thing. And I'm not saying magic mushrooms should be illegal, but the thing is, I don't think they should be at every 7-Eleven either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you ain't lying, bro. I think mushrooms, the thing about psychedelics, I know that I don't know enough about them because I've never experimented with them. I see Joe Rogan, the way he talks about them. The way he talks about him, he says it's kind of like an out-of-body, like, godly experience. You know what I mean? I kind of would love to fuck with psychedelics because I'm just curious. You know what I mean? It's one of those things that happens and then it's over. You know, it's not something that lasts forever. You know what I mean? So how bad could it really get? You know what I mean? But I've always wanted to just, like, experiment, touch it a little bit. I don't know enough about it to speak on it, but I don't think kids should have access to fucking mushrooms. You know what I mean?
Well, and as our president would say, or whoever the fuck you want, whatever the fuck you want to call him, here's the deal. I'm of the mindset, I really don't think any drug should be illegal, but I think they should be regulated. And I think that certain drugs, like a psychedelic, should be harder to get access to. I don't think that you should be arrested for possessing it or having it or wanting to distribute it, but that, that's a different story for a different day. But at the same time, if a 12-year-old wants to get cigarettes, they're going to find a way to get cigarettes.
Right.
They could raise the age all they want. The age now is 21. I heard they want to raise it to 25. I mean, a 24-year-old is still going to find a way to get a fucking cigarette.
Right.
So there's always going to be a black market. And we were talking about this last night with guns. So it's just ridiculous that, and now I'm going to go back to weed specifically. It's just ridiculous. A plant completely unprocessed that just straight up comes out of the ground would ever be illegal to begin with. And second of all, this plant does so many things. You were talking about the other night, hemp, the cousin to wheat, the female, I guess, sister.
You can make books, you can make clothing, there's so much you can use, and it cures so much. And you don't have to, look at cocaine. You got to add fucking all kinds of poisons and shit to it, and then you stick it in your brain. Weed, you take it, you crumble it up, you put it on a paper, and you smoke it. And it gets rid of your anxiety. It gets rid of your pain. It gives you a little bit of cotton mouth and gets you a little stoned, but it doesn't kill anybody. You can't overdose on weed unless you smoke 7 pounds in 7 minutes, and that is physically impossible.
You never saw two people get stoned and get into a bar fight. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Put a bunch of stoners in a room and put a bunch of fucking drinkers and drunks in a room. I guarantee you the drunks will have a brawl before the weed smokers.
It's so true. So, yeah, it's just ridiculous. And the fact that these slimy politicians have to lump in magic mushrooms. And by the way, that's why I voted no. Because And like I told you, I never post on Facebook, but I posted after the election results came in. And I said, and I quote, "This state will find a way to fuck that up too," referring to the weed. And they did. Because it's still, and look, I could still get it whenever the fuck I want. Cops really, for the most part, don't care. It's pretty much been in the tri-state area decriminalized. And even while you were still up here.
I mean, you ain't gonna get away with having 6 pounds in your trunk, but no cop is gonna fucking arrest you for having an eighth of weed in your fucking pocket and a bowl in your glove. You know, it's not worth the paperwork.
It's not worth the paperwork, and half these cops are probably smoking a bowl themselves after work.
Exactly.
So it's just crazy.
Yeah, they confiscate it and then go home and smoke it.
Right. So did you see the Supreme Court the other day? Couple rulings that they didn't make. Number one, they said no again to Pennsylvania. And in this particular instance, it was about really, can a body other than the state legislator decide the rules to a federal election days leading up to the election? And this was not. So the reason they didn't accept this is because they said this could not affect the outcome of the 2020 election. We already fucking know that, Einstein. No fucking shit. The point of this case and why it was brought to the Supreme Court was to prevent future controversies of things like this happening.
Right.
So my opinion that they didn't take this is that they don't give a shit. They're compromised and they're pieces of shit because the state legislator in each and every one of the 50 states are the sole and only body that gets to decide what the election rules are. You can't executive order election rules, especially in a federal election. Now, state level, local level, have at it. Do whatever you want. But for a federal election, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's insane. This whole thing that's going on. Like, listen, you may agree, may disagree if there was, okay, or wasn't, but you need to at least look at it and say, okay, let's see what you got here. At least open the book. Don't automatically assume the book is lying to you without opening it and reading it. It's ridiculous. The whole point of this whole situation is to just look at what we have.
Right.
You may say it's bullshit. You may make your ruling on it, but look at it. Whenever you have a case, you look at both sides and then you come up with an outcome.
Right. You take a look at it, and this was more to prevent, because we have, guess what? In less than 2 years, we have another federal level election. We have a midterm congressional fucking election. That could be very important. And you know who, Uncle Donnie, is going to be on the campaign trail. And he's going to be primarying out all those motherfuckers that voted to impeach him. But if we don't have a free and fair election system, what the fuck's the point?
Right.
So speaking of Uncle Donnie, the second thing the Supreme Court allowed was for the state of New York was to take a look at Trump's taxes going back, I think, to like his whole entire career, which again, we talked about this, I think, one night this week. Good, let them. What are they trying to prove? What do they think is going to come out of this?
I'm telling you, they're just finding ways because all that bullshit they're coming up with is not working. So they're going to find any and every way they can to discredit him. and to just like shut him down, but it is physically impossible. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what you do. At this point, people know the truth. We ain't scared of what you're going to come up with, because you're already starting off this whole thing as, you know, you're coming on the offense. And that's all you've been doing this whole time.
Right.
It's just insanity. What do they think? They think they're going to flip people? You think people who know the truth are going to say, oh, I'm going to be a Democrat now because Trump didn't pay your fucking taxes in 2007. Fuck you with that shit. Like, are you just trying to put him in a cell? Is that what you're trying to do?
Dude, this is the most fat Jew you've been so far on my...
Bro, it's fucking insanity, dude. It's crazy. And the fact that these people still believe, dude, I can't tell you how many videos I made about this, still believe in corn pop is just fucking astronomical. This man was on an interview the other day. Hold on, I got to get my notepad out. What was that number again? Oh, 500,070. Bro, are you serious? This man needs note cards and fucking and like reading material to remember what the fuck is going on in here. I'm telling you, he's lost it. He thinks he's in the White House. He definitely thinks he's in the White House, but he ain't fucking there.
He's somewhere else. He's somewhere else.
Dude, fucking insanity.
Hey,
And then these people, Trump had dementia for the past 4 years. Really? And then they're coming at me with this disability shit again. Oh, you know, we had presidents that had disabilities. I know. I was talking about a mental disability. I don't care if the man has legs that don't work. I don't give a fuck. If he's not there up here, he's useless. You want me to sign this? You want me to, like, you don't know what the fuck he's doing. He's this right here. He's a fucking puppet just doing whatever they want.
And it's funny because I'm of the belief that most presidents are that, but it's never been this obvious in my lifetime.
Right. But you also have the choice. I mean, when you give a speech, okay, and he's made what? He's been in front of a camera 4 or 5 times, maybe. I'm sorry, but
I paid zero attention, honestly.
I could probably count on my hands the amount of times he's been on TV since he's been in. Okay, they're scared of putting him on screen because every single time, like literally every single time he gets in front of a camera, he makes a fool of himself.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why they're afraid of putting him on camera, because if they put too much exposure on him, you know, people are just maybe going to wake up and say, what the fuck is going on with JoJo? Because he's not all there. He's really not.
Did you see any of those videos on TikTok where like they show his body double, supposedly?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. I've seen all of that shit. How, yeah, one has the earlobe connected and one's not connected. Would it shock me? Absolutely not.
Nothing
Do
was
I
shocking.
believe it? Maybe. But, you know, they're always coming up with, oh, this one's got a double, this one. And I'm not, and it wouldn't shock me again because Saddam did it. You know what I mean? People do it and they get away with it. But whatever, it is what it is. I just know that the real Joe Biden, the one who, you know, used to be on the Senate talking with no issues, no speech problems, no nothing. I don't want my kids growing up in a racial jungle.
The Joe Biden that all he did was plagiarize people.
Right, right. What if they hit my mother in the head with a lead pipe? And what if they rape my daughter and kick my sister? And he had no issues.
I'm gonna put you back in chains.
Yeah, I'm gonna put y'all back in shit. What the fuck? Like that. The fact that people don't think this man is a fucking racist boggles my mind. Men that held Robert Byrd's hand in a rally and said this man was a mentor and a great person. Really? 4 years ago, the man had a white hood on his face. What the fuck are you talking about?
So it's funny. On one of my What's Trendings I did a while ago during the campaign trail, right? I was doing a little of my own fact checking because who fact checks the fact checkers, right? You know what I mean? So the fact that the fact checkers were checking was that, and this was proven false by the fact checkers, Joe Biden never eulogized a KKK president. You know what the
It's on
real
video
fact
and audio.
Wait. Just let me finish. You know what the real fact was in very small print? He eulogized a KKK chapter leader.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was and it was from like USA Today or something. But what an embarrassment to print that. What a fucking embarrassment.
But this is the sick world we live in. The sick world we live in. See, like today, somebody came at me with some bullshit again, because they always come at me thinking that they're going to trigger me. I think that's what they look for.
Our
and I
side
think
doesn't get triggered.
And I think their glory is when I make a video about how fucked up their comment is. You know what I mean? So some guy came at me today. What was it? He said, "Yeah, there you go. You're just a dirty little Jew and you think you're superior." So of course I made a video which they took down or muted or whatever the fuck it was.
But his video was okay, calling you a Jew in a negative connotation.
Right. Called me a dirty Jew and said you must feel superior.
Right, dirty Jew. Like,
does it bother me? Absolutely not. It bothers me that my response got fucking silenced, but you know, that's to be expected from somebody who just preaches the truth. You know what I mean? And then another guy came at me with some nonsense. And what did he say? Oh, he said, "You look like you're hiding that triple chin behind a beard." So I invested in this one because I like responding to people if they have videos. Because I can go through their videos and see who they are and see what they're all about.
Like, did the guy even look at your name? You call yourself the Fat Jew?
Right. Like, obviously, I got fucking rolls, motherfucker. It ain't like I call myself the skinny Jew when you see my fat ass get on the screen. I mean, what the fuck? So I watched, like, all of his videos, all of, like, 10 videos. Every single video was his 3 dogs. So I got on there, and I'm like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing?" I said, "Listen, next time you want to say something, like you want to roast me, at least show your face like a man instead of your fucking ugly-ass dogs." And I went after his dogs. So, of course, that triggered him. He's like, "My dogs are probably worth more than your trailer house." And I'm like, "Okay, I must have got to you, man."
People are just...
And they all think, for some reason, they all think that every single person who's not a leftist and a Democrat apparently lives in a fucking trailer home in some hillbilly fucking hick town. When in reality, they're surrounded by hillbillies.
What's really funny is, obviously, you're familiar with where I'm from because you grew up not too far from here. And there's some really, really, really wealthy towns. And I will tell you, I'm surprised by how many Biden-Harris signs I saw in the wealthy towns. I didn't see many, but the ones I saw in front of, like, again, these houses here are probably worth a few million and probably pay 20 grand in property tax. But the same house in Florida probably is like 800,000. You know what I mean? And like barely any property tax. But
yeah, there's actually in nice neighborhoods here too. There was a lot. I remember Halloween.
I'm just surprised people are so dumb with their money that they vote that way. You know what I mean? Not to interrupt you. You were making a point.
No, it's fine. And like I say all the time, it won't hit them until it's too fucking late. You know what I mean? Like it won't hit them until it's like far gone.
Right.
That's how like in tune these people are. Like I said, they live in a bubble. They live in a giant dome in their own little fucking world where, you know, everything apparently is, you know, daisies and rainbows, and everybody who disagrees with you is a fucking absolute racist piece of shit. You know what I mean? Just for having an opinion.
Right. By the way, when did that start, that people can't have their own opinions? Because the country I grew up in, whether it was political discourse or whatever, any kind of discourse was okay. So there was never anything malicious behind it. But now all of a sudden, you can't even disagree on a color.
It's fascism.
I don't even mean a skin color. I mean, like, you know.
Yeah, I know. It's fascism at its finest. That's literally what it is. It's you need to believe what I believe or else.
It's a shit.
Like, I'm sorry. You can't tell me what to think, motherfucker. What now you're fucking with my brain. Yeah, I can think what I want. I can see whoever I want naked right now in my head. You have no right to fucking tell me I can't do that.
I bet that guy thinks you're thinking about a naked man because he probably thinks you're gay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love it. Come get me.
Hey, speaking of gay men, and I don't mean Rand Paul, but did you see that exchange with Rand Paul and that fucking blonde-haired freak?
Yes.
That Biden appointed, and that got ugly because fucking Biden legitimately said, do you have a problem with children as young as 3 years old mutilating their bodies and removing breasts and genitalia? And you would think a reasonable adult would say, yes, I do have a problem with that. And what did this freak say?
Yeah, we got to have a private conversation in your office.
What is this? What's going on right now?
What's going on is the same thing that's been going on. They think just because somebody's different, all of a sudden they know what to do. This is the Equality Act right here being played out in actual life. This motherfucker, who the fuck is he, she, whatever the fuck. You can't tell me that's a woman, all right? That's a grown-ass man with a fucking wig. I don't give a fuck what you say.
And
okay.
I want to point out, on Tinder and Bumble, I get fooled very easily sometimes, okay? There's some, for lack of a better term, there's some hot trannies on Bumble and Tinder.
Oh, I'm not going to lie. I get fooled all the time.
You know what? A better term might be convincing. But whatever the fuck Biden hired in that position, I mean, the outside to me is a representation of how fucked up they are inside in the head.
Right. See, I would trust somebody who's already gone through that transition and actually looks like a woman, has a vagina and not a penis between her legs. Okay? That would make more sense to me. But this halfway through my transition bullshit, what is this? Is this like a show and tell over here? Is this a fucking show and tell? Is this like, before transition, after transition type shit? Because you put a wig on and put fucking nail polish on, I'm sorry. I'm not going to say she went to the store. You're still a fucking man.
Yeah, I'll take Kylie Jenner any day over that shit.
Yeah. Ridiculous what goes on. It's a game. It's a giant fucking game that these kids are playing.
And again, these fucking liberals, Trump hates women, conservatives hate women. How do you hate women more than letting biological boys compete in girls' athletics?
Right. Feminism has left the building. You know what I'm saying? People who fought for women's rights. What are you fighting for now?
Well,
you want grown-ass men competing against you and winning every time because they are biologically better. And
again, we're not strangers. We've become friends over the last couple of weeks or so, but I just don't know everything you know. You don't know everything I know. Are you aware that there's two types of feminism? There's like the old school feminism, which actually makes sense.
Yeah, and then there's the new age fucking gay pride feminism. Right. I know.
Yeah, and then there's the neo-feminism, which is completely insane. Right. Completely insane. And I'll support the old school feminism 100%.
Absolutely. I believe women who, like I said, if you can do the job, I don't care what you have between your legs. But if you're not qualified for the job, just because you have tits and a dick doesn't make you qualified.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So what do we have for you here next on What's Trending? Did you know that New Jersey icon Bruce Springsteen and former President Barack Obama started a podcast as if their egos weren't big enough already? Did you know between the two of them, they wrote 7 books just about themselves? And now they have a podcast.
Somebody's self-centered, huh? Somebody's a little full of themselves.
So now they have, if that's not bad enough, now they have a podcast where guess what they talk about?
Themselves.
This is probably my 65th, 66th podcast, somewhere around there. I've never talked about myself once. Not that I'm somebody to talk about myself. I'm not a Bruce or an Obama by any stretch of the imagination. But If a nobody like me can think of all these other things to talk about, why can't an artist like Bruce Springsteen or a former president like Barack Obama possibly think about anything else to talk about?
Yeah, it's not like, they've done enough in their life, right?
And put my personal feelings aside about them, I have a huge amount of respect for what they've accomplished. I really do. And I grew up on Bruce being a Jersey guy, and my dad was about this. My dad was a little bit younger than Bruce, but I grew up with Bruce being force-fed down my throat along with my baby food. So I know Bruce like I know the alphabet. You know what I'm saying? And I voted for Obama in 2008, and I admit that. It was because I was misinformed, to be honest with you. But
right, you were still stuck in that bubble.
But I still, as much as people will not, I was talking to a chick on Bumble once that couldn't even say Trump. You know what she put? She put T asterisk 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 P. All right.
Really?
As much as I hate Obama as a president, I respect him enough. And to be honest with you, and I've said this before on my podcast, I would have a beer with Obama. I don't hate him. I just think he's a shitty president. That's all. But that's the difference, I think, between our side and the other side, right?
Right. We don't hate people because of what they believe. I don't care what you believe. But once you start taking your beliefs and force feeding them to me, right, I'm going to vomit them back up. You can't force me to live your life. It's your life. You want to be a shitty fucking human being? That's your prerogative. But don't tell me that I have to be just as shitty just to fucking live my life. I'm sorry. That's not how this works.
Correct.
It's like, it's just getting so out of control. It's to the point where you have to watch out what you say.
Well, certainly neither of us do that because we're on the internet telling it like it is every fucking day.
Yeah, well.
But and like you probably get background checked a lot less than I do when you're looking for a job. But I'm at the point where I don't give a fuck because I believe in myself. And if somehow doing this disqualifies me from getting a job one day, I'm a resourceful person. I'll find another way to make a living and an income.
Listen, with my job, okay, when it boils down to it, me saying shit on the internet has nothing to do with how much I know about carpentry.
Right.
Which is why none of my bosses are going to say, yo, I got to fire you because of what you say on the fucking internet.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if I could do my job and do it right, that's it. If a customer I doubt this will ever fucking happen. But if a customer recognizes me and say, I don't like you, got seen you on TikTok, that's fine. I won't fucking work in your house. I don't want to work in your house at this point if you're going to be that asshole, you know what I mean? But nobody's going to say it. And you know what? If they fired me because of it, okay, then I don't want to have a boss like that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. See, a lot of people don't realize, and this is a message to people that hire people. When you're interviewing us, we're interviewing you too. We're deciding if we actually do want to work for you. Even though you're the one that's potentially signing our paycheck, we have the right to choose who signs our paycheck, so long as they want us to work for them. And that's just the way it is.
Because if your employees are happy, your business will grow. If you treat your employees like shit, you'll go nowhere.
Right. And again, this guy's a fat Jew. He knows what he's talking about.
And I've been lucky. I honestly, I have been very lucky. You know what I mean? All my bosses have always been guys that just they want to help me out as best they can. They want me to succeed. You know what I mean? I don't want to hang out with somebody who doesn't want to see me better my life. You know what I mean? That's what Democrats do.
Well, you know what? I think you're hysterical. I think you're really funny. And sometimes you come across angry, but like in a funny way. But
See, a lot of people assume that about me.
But you come across as genuine and as a nice guy. And I think a little bit of it is a little persona. Just like the way, if you ever watched wrestling, Stone Cold Steve Austin, he would always say when he went into that ring and cut a promo, he was really just being himself with the volume turned up. And that's what you are. That's what the fat Jew is on TikTok. You're just being yourself with the volume turned up.
Right. If people meet me in real life and they get to know me, I'm a pretty nice guy. I'll give the fucking shirt off my back. But you come at me with that bullshit nonsense, don't expect me to cower, whimper, and fucking stay in a corner. I did enough of that shit in my early days. I got
Exactly.
picked on as a kid. You know what I mean? I got stomped on. I got fucking harassed and fucking bullied. And you know what? Look at me. I'm fine now. Because you know what? It gave me tough skin. That's the problem.
And you know what?
I understand
kids
some
should
bullies.
be getting bullied, I think.
Right. I understand some bullies are fucking assholes and they deserve a punch in the face. But that's what it's about. When you learn to stand up for yourself
Right.
and say, I'm not going to take this shit no more,
Correct.
now you learn and then you grow from that. But if you cower and whimper and bitch and say, oh, this person has to be canceled and this person has because of what they said and blah, 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 you won't learn how to take a shot because the first shot you take is going to put you on your ass.
And you're not going to get up.
Exactly. I've been fucking punched. I've been beat. I've been fucking. I'm done with all of that. Come at me with it now, because I'll tell you, you ain't gonna get a reaction out of me. Because
Well,
I've had worse.
I'll tell you what, you're laying people on their ass mentally.
Exactly. And that's why they fucking shut me down and fucking report my shit, because I put it, I lay it on the table and they got nothing to come at me with. So they just report my shit because their feelings got hurt.
So I didn't do this on purpose, but next on what's trending, Ted Cruz. I totally did not mean to not capitalize the C in Cancun, but anywho, you've been to Cancun, I'm sure, right? We've all been to Cancun.
I think maybe on a cruise I may have swung by.
Obviously, yeah. But this guy got so much shit. First of all, the guy's not a state senator. He's not a state level senator in Texas. He's not the governor of Texas. He's a U.S. senator representing Texas. So what he does has no bearing on what happens in Texas. So first of all, smarten up. And if it was a Democrat, I'd honestly say the same fucking thing. So, and the other point I want to make about this, all these politicians are corrupt fucking jerk-offs anyway, so who cares what they do? We're just going to focus on one senator out of 100? I want to know what the other 99 senators were doing. How come a senator from, I don't know, let's say California couldn't help Texas? Or why couldn't a senator from, let's say, New York help Texas? Because Mayor de Blasio from New York certainly went down to the border to virtue signal when Trump had his cages down there that were really Obama's cages and Bush's cages, but we don't have to talk about that. No one cares about facts.
Right. That's in the past, who cares about that?
So, I mean, my take on it is, who gives a shit? But they made a whole
I honestly could care less. And honestly, if I was him and I had money to fucking spare and it was snowing in Texas where it never snows, I'd say let's get the fuck out of here too. And obviously, not everybody can do that, which is fucking what life is.
Right.
Okay? Some people got to fucking strap up and do what they got to do. And I'll tell you right now, I guarantee you 90% of Texans will say, I don't need your fucking help. I'm good. Because Texas is the most American fucking state in America. And people get together and help each other out and do what they got to do. I'm sure Texas is fine. They don't need fucking Old Man Rivers to visit them to make them feel better about themselves. Because he'll be a giant burden. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Well, Texas has a vote coming up this year whether or not they want to stay in the U.S. And actually, I hope they secede.
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to see the videos and pictures of them, escorting him out, like they did the bus a couple of years ago, or whatever the fuck it was. Can you turn that down?
But dude, Texas is pretty badass. They've been owned by Spain. They've been owned by Mexico. They've been owned by France. They've been their own country. They've been part of the Confederacy, and they've been part of the U.S.
Okay. Nice.
Texas is a goddamn cool place. And honestly, because I live where I live, I feel like if I ever moved down to like Austin, Texas, I'd probably feel right at home because I'm in Texas, but I'm in like a liberal area. And I'm not saying liberal area in a good way, but look where I live now. So it's like I'd be used to it. But
right.
At the same time, you're still in Texas.
Yeah, it's a step up almost.
Exactly. Exactly.
And I just love how everybody is now turning and looking at Florida and say, "Oh my God, it's a great place." Yeah, because we're still free. We don't have to wear masks. We're open. We're going to the beach. We're hanging out. We're not fucking, locking ourselves in our houses with our masks on because of,
Oh,
something.
I wanted to bring this up last night with our guests, but I just couldn't squeeze it in. Nothing to me is more irritating than when I'm driving. Hi, Mr. Statue. The most irritating thing I fucking come across in my life is when I see a person in a car by themselves with the windows up and a mask on.
Yeah.
Please
That's
don't tell me you see that in Florida. Please tell me
Oh,
that.
I always see it all the time. You know what I call it?
Come on.
I call it just as dumb as masturbating with a condom on. It's and every time I see it, it drives me nuts.
At least if you masturbate with a condom on, you won't make a mess. So that makes kind of sense.
Yeah, but the thing is, what are you afraid of? You afraid you're gonna get yourself sick? Like if you're that scared of this shit, then you lock yourself in the house.
Oh my lord.
Lock yourself in the house and don't go anywhere. Because wearing a mask in your own car is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Don't eat my egg roll this time.
Don't eat your egg roll? Okay. I'll feed you my egg roll.
Stop it.
And I'm saying this facetiously, of course, but next topic, CPAC. And guess who the main event is for CPAC? The Lord and Savior himself. Uncle Donnie.
Oh, yeah?
And
that's actually going on down here, isn't it?
It's in Orlando, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
of course
there must be a line to Tampa from Orlando to get in that building.
Oh, probably. Wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it at all.
Now, what's always been funny to me, if you just on the campaign trail use the campaign rally turnout as just a barometer, and one is like here, and the other is like so low my hand goes.
It's in negative numbers. What do you mean? It's in negative numbers.
And
he can't get more than 7 people to show up, and he probably pays all of them. It's almost like they're embarrassed to support him.
But I'll tell you what, it was the same thing in 2016, and I don't know how much you recollect, because I think you might have been thinking about moving to Florida in 2016 a little bit. But I'll tell you what, I remember watching Tim Kaine, who was Hillary's VP, another fucking stupid idiot from Virginia, stupid liberal, dumb fucking hick idiot. And again, I like hicks, but not this fucking. This guy's just a dumb fucking liberal hick. And like, I don't even know how this guy has a college diploma, never mind a high school diploma or a GED. I don't know how he could even be elected dog catcher, this guy, Tim Kaine. You know how many people Tim Kaine drew when he was on the campaign trail on Hillary's behalf? Like 12 people. And Pence wouldn't draw like Trump crowds, but Pence would draw like a few thousand people.
Oh, easily.
And then I remember I was watching the VP debate, because you always do. You know, we obviously had Kamala and Pence this year, and last go around it was Kaine and Pence. Tim Kaine said something to the effect of, "Oh well, you just sound like you're just being an apprentice for Trump," you know, because you right. And Pence goes like this. This is literally Pence's reaction. He goes, he goes, "Mr. Kaine, was that line premeditated?" He goes, it sounds like you rehearsed that.
Yeah, he's probably right.
Oh no, because I was watching that shit religiously in 2016, and like if that was like Tim Kaine's like jab set up to like get an uppercut or whatever in, he kept trying to like, if the first 2 letters of the uppercut was APP, he kept trying to say a pre, and like he just couldn't get it in. And then when he finally found a way to get it in, fucking Pence just came back out of nowhere and just fucking smacked him with a hook.
Yeah.
It was a thing of beauty to watch. It really was. But
I
hey,
think all the debates I've seen were actually pretty funny, especially the Biden-Trump debates. They were fun.
we did live watch-alongs for that on YouTube.
Oh, it was a shit show, and it's the moderators too are like just so fucking left-leaning. It's ridiculous.
Right. So it's really if you're in the Republican slot, you're not just debating your political opponent, you're debating the fucking moderator.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's 2 against 1.
But what's great about Trump is that he would actually call that out. He'd be like, "Oh, I guess it's 2 against 1."
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. That's why people loved him. And the thing I love most about the man, his pettiness to at his rallies show videos of just, dumbass shit. I love it.
Oh, of like the gaffes of the Biden gaffes?
Yeah.
Seriously, how do you vote for a guy like that?
I don't know. Because it really boils down to the same thing also. We all know this. I'd say 80% of people who voted for him were just voting against Trump.
I even think it would be more than that. I would say almost 95%.
Probably, yeah. You're probably closer to being right.
Now,
But
if you're talking about 2016 Biden, before the dementia really set in, I'd give you 50%.
right. But how dumb are you that after 4 years of no war, really nothing ungodly happened, you know what I
Right.
mean, by force. Obviously, this whole COVID shit happened, but that's another story that's way too long of a story.
Sure.
Okay? If COVID never happened, our economy would be so booming right now. Like he always said, you get sick of winning. And I think like the left did get sick of winning. You know what I mean? Because they need some destruction in their life.
He never thought of it as winning. Because he would rather lose money under a Democrat than gain money under Trump. And if you don't believe me, talk to a Democrat. They'll confirm that.
Right. It's just common sense. But it's common sense. It's not that hard. And it just amazes me. I wish I could talk to somebody. You know what I mean? It's almost like they're a different species. But it's like, and it's like they're aliens, and I got to get to know them. You know what I mean? Do they come in peace? Like, what the fuck is going on up here? I don't know. I don't know. Apparently, they want to fucking probe each other, though. They're into that.
The way you just said that, it's hilarious. So we got about 3 topics left here. I want to know, Fat Jew, are there any topics that are trending with you that you'd like to go over here?
Not really. I mean, there's nothing big happened that surprises me anymore. So, like, if something crazy used to happen 10 years ago, you'd be like, holy shit, did you hear about this? But now it's like there's a holy shit every day with these fucking people that it doesn't shock me anymore.
I don't blame you.
Maybe that should be the trending thing. Like, this country is so fucking crazy that nothing should shock you anymore.
Here, well, I got one for you. Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah, that's another one nobody's talking about.
Well, this is an example of now the left is actually starting to left a little bit.
Right, but if you pay attention, no news fucking stations are covering this shit because they don't want people to know the truth.
Well, the only channel I watch is Newsmax, and I only watch Greg Kelly. And, I mean, we've known now for not over a year, but about 10 to 11 months that Cuomo is responsible for the death of about 15,000 people.
Right.
As is the governor of my state, not that many people. And as is the governor of California, and as is that Whitmore fucking cunt up in Wisconsin, where our boy was last night.
Yeah, he's had the most death and shut down. Florida has less death, and it's open.
Now, how does that work?
It's magical, apparently. Apparently, it's magic. Now all of a sudden, everybody's coming out and saying, "Oh, hydroxychloroquine, it works." No shit, Shirley. We've been saying it for the past fucking 2 years. Think about all the lives you could have saved if you didn't shut down that black nurse who was talking about it. And how she said that 97% of her patients were cured with zinc and hydrochloroquine. And then you ban that shit because that's the savior of all. And now when shit's getting too crazy for you, they're like, oh shit, you know what? This stuff may actually work. and now I guarantee you this is how it's gonna go. They're gonna push it. They're gonna save everybody, you know, who, and then they're gonna say they're the saviors of COVID. They defeated COVID. And then they're gonna go down as the people who, you know, cured everything. But they'll say that Don told you to fucking inject bleach. What the fuck is wrong with people?
And do you believe this cocksucker Cuomo actually had the balls to write a book about how well he handled the COVID problem? Did you know about that?
No, I didn't.
That news probably didn't make its way down to Florida, but yeah.
Holy shit, that's some funny stuff.
Oh yeah.
That's like fucking Hitler writing a book saying he created a Jewish picnic and fucking invited all fucking Jewish friends over, and 2 of them got burnt. What the fuck is wrong with you? You're fucking ridiculous. Oh, so Hitler was just a fucking baker now?
Yeah,
Fucking
he was a baker, all right.
Yep. Yeah, he had a Jewish bakery. Fucking people.
Unbelievable. Well, one of the things I like most about you, Fat Jew, is that you have a good sense of humor. And you need a good sense of humor for this next trending topic. Believe it or not, Joe Biden's Congress doesn't trust him with the nuclear codes. Now, do you remember all the bullshit when Trump was debating Hillary? Can this guy Trump really have the nuclear codes? Blah, 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 blah. In the meantime, he was the most anti-war president we've had in our lifetime. Joe Biden and his party control Congress. And they asked him to surrender the keys under the guise that not one person should have them. A whole Congress should have. All of a sudden now, a single person shouldn't have that.
Right.
Just Congress.
No, it's not that a single person shouldn't have it. It's that they know he might think it's a fucking snooze button one night, and he'll fucking just start fucking blowing shit up. Ooh, what's this pretty red button do? Is this a fireworks show?
Yeah.
But they know he's lost his fucking mind. They know it. It's not a secret. It's not a secret to them. It's not a secret to us. It's a secret to every one of his voters, though. But then again, 90% of them are dead, so what does it matter? You know what I mean? But they're afraid because they know he's not mentally stable to have that power, which is what we've been saying this whole fucking time.
You ever see that meme? It's a couple years old. It's of Hillary doing a rally. It says Hillary doing a rally in front of her voters, and it's in his fucking cemetery.
Yeah, and then there was a video of Biden walking in his cemetery, and I stitched it, and I was like, hey, he's going to personally thank all of his voters. Yeah, no, I think that's what that boils down to. They know he's fucking crazy. They know he's lost his mind, so they don't want him to accidentally, you know, start a war with North Korea.
Well, it's like if you ever watched that movie Hook, where that guy lost his marbles. That's fucking Biden. The guy,
right? He's lost his marbles, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. But when you've lost your marbles, look for them. Don't run a fucking country.
It don't make him a bad guy, but you maybe shouldn't be the president of the United States.
Right. You know what I mean? You could work at the fucking carnival giving people popcorn, but that's as far as you can go.
Dude, I don't even know.
And we gotta lock you in there, because if not, you might get lost on the fucking rides.
Do you even think he's capable of doing that?
Serving popcorn? Probably.
He couldn't take tickets. I don't think he could do that.
No, and he definitely doesn't know how to fucking count and do math, because that seems to be a little difficult for him. Because apparently 75 million people have died from COVID. More people than World War I, World War II. It's like, bro, you fucking retarded.
I hate to be mean, but like when somebody's just retarded and like they're a good person, but like they're just not going to be an asset in the workforce, but you need to give them something to do. Like, what do you give them to do?
Anything that they're capable of. So you have to test somebody like that out. Somebody who's got issues, you test them out. You give them slow things. They can do it fine. 47 years he's had practice. What the fuck has he done? 47 fucking years.
Oh,
Maybe he shouldn't be there.
I'm gonna tell him it's not even a joke. It's not. I'm not trying to be funny, but the guy doesn't even plagiarize anymore. That used to be his biggest strength, was plagiarism. Right. Now he's not even doing that.
What? Good. And I don't think he's capable of having like a one-on-one conversation with anybody anymore. Man has to carry around a memo pad. And the fact that they're okay with him doing that, it just, I don't know, it boggles my mind. It really does.
Because the hate for Trump outweighs any sort of common sense.
Right. And when you literally ask somebody, why do you hate Trump that much? They'll bring up some shit he did or some shit he fucking said. Okay, we're talking about running a country. We're not talking about who he is as a person. When you do business with somebody,
and even as a person, I don't really think he's that bad of a guy.
I know, but all this shit people come up with. Okay, fine. Maybe you think he's got a couple skeletons in his closet, which I don't think he does.
I heard. Was that your kid?
Yeah.
Are you talking to me?
No, he's talking to my wife.
I heard when they show Home Alone 2 on cable, they cut out his cameo. Can you believe
it shocked me.
And he, at that time, he was the owner of the Plaza Hotel. So like,
right.
What the fuck? That's how much they hate this guy. Like, I've never, and the other day, I was happy to see a guy that calls himself the Fat Jew kind of compare Trump to Jesus. It's pretty fucking similar. I'm not saying Trump is Jesus, but there are some parallels.
Right. And all they want to do is crucify the man. And this man is taking shit for 4 years straight. Nobody.
Not even longer than that. 6 years.
I'm just saying, ever since he ran, that's it. You know, it was like downhill from there. Hey.
What? I'm going to tell you a secret right now that all the haters don't want to hear. Trump first went down the escalator in 2015. Let's just call it April. I don't know the exact date. Let's just say April of 2015. So let's call it 6 years ago. Let's just round it to 6 years ago, okay? So Trump's been around for 6 years politically. If they just let the last election go, he would have been out of there by 2024. You had 9 years of Trump. Now he's gone. Now look what they did. They created an extra 4 years in the Trump vacuum. So now instead of being around for 6 years, this guy might be around for like 14 years.
Right.
The two Bushes weren't even around for 14 years put together. They were only around for 12 years put together. So you know what they say, you reap what you sow.
And I think he was the perfect person to do it.
Absolutely. And, you know, hate him or love him. And look, the guy's not perfect. He's done a lot of things wrong.
Nobody's saying he's perfect. But for what he did for this country,
he's done way more
look
good.
At his policies.
Right.
Pay attention. And they're so excited because Biden undid everything that he was trying to do. So they're like, oh, we got him. When you don't even know what was going on.
Right.
Like he went back on that Project Talon thing. Really? So now now instead of kicking sexual predators here illegally out, you just want them to hang out and stay and prey on our kids? Are you fucking sick and mental?
If they just hang out and stay here, they're not going to do it again.
Right. Because people like that, yeah, they change all the time.
The second you enact a law that lets them to stay means they're not going to do it again.
Right, yeah. And that's why they're now calling pedophilia sexual preference. Like that shit is just whoever came up with that fucking phrase should get punched in the face until every single one of their teeth is down their fucking throat. For you to say that this is a sexual preference, you are now saying that this is okay with you? Are you fucking mental? Like, as kids, all grown up, don't talk to strangers. Don't fucking, now you're just, it's just a guy just trying to get his fucking, what?
I have a sexual preference too. It's called masturbation, so I don't harm any other girls, right? So
There you go. Can't poke him in the eye.
So we've come down. We've made it this far. We're at the last topic. And you're going to love this one. It's a doozy. I sent you the link. I'm not sure if you got a chance to look at it. University suspends professor for tweets criticizing slavery reparations and racial bias training. I don't know if you're aware or hip on this, but I'm going to read you a tweet right now. I'm going to put it in front of the camera. I can't read. Well, all right, here it is. I don't know if you could see it.
Suppose your great-great-grandfather murdered somebody. The victim's great-grandfather knocks on your door, shows you a newspaper clipping, demands compensation.
And this guy got suspended for just telling it how it is.
Yeah, well, that's the same thing as me. I think I should go to Germany and just start knocking on doors and saying, you owe me something because your ancestors had something to do with what happened here.
And check out this automatic triggered response in all caps.
Professor, nice. See, I love how that's the response to that. But
no, like, so what this guy did, what you did, he put them in a corner, he boxed them into a corner of logic,
right,
in which the idiot couldn't escape, and then their response was just something more idiotic than in the first place.
Right. Because they'll find any and every excuse and any kind of wormhole fucking idea in their head that they can to make whatever they're saying make sense. Like, they'll make up bullshit to cover their own bullshit.
And
you know what I mean?
Believe it or not, I actually believe this professor was from New Jersey. So shout out to this guy. I'd love to have him on the show anytime.
See, I spoke to a guy the other day. I wrote a comment in his videos. He's actually a professor. He's a history professor, and he really knows his shit. And what he does is he brings up history about Democrats. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he just tells people like that.
The KKK.
Yeah. And I told you that whole 300,000 people own slaves, and I think, he was the one who told me that only 300 were fucking, or what was it, eight were Republican.
That's a pretty bad ratio, dude.
Oh yeah, that tells me that they've been putting people down forever. There actually is, forget his name. There's a guy that I want to get on here eventually. What? Okay. Hold on a sec.
So I'm going to do a first here on what's trending. I'm going to actually, because usually this is a solo show, I want this guy to tease me. He's down in Florida in the Tampa, St. Petersburg area. I'm going to ask him the temperature there. Watch this.
I'm back.
Hey, I'm going to do a first on my flagship show, What's Trending.
What's up?
What's the temperature down there?
Temperature right now. Hold on 1 second. It is 84 degrees.
Holy shit. That was the year I was born.
Oh yeah, it was a little toasty today. Today was a perfect beach day.
Wow. See, what I wanted to say last night when your friend was talking about driving with the windows down in South Carolina, I wanted to be like, hey, I drive down with the windows too, but I got the heat blast.
Yeah, and you got two North Faces on. Yeah, I do.
No, I'm that jerk off that, like, this is what I wore to the gym today, right? I'll wear a Hulk Hogan hat and a sleeveless black t-shirt to the gym, and I'll go out to my car like this, but my car will be heated. Like, I'll have the heated seat going, and I'll have like the heat blasting because like I don't believe in wearing a coat in a car. I don't know if that's just me because like
No, well, when you have a car that you can conveniently do that, that makes sense. But see, I've never had a car that had like heated seats and heated steering. I've never had those cars. I'm sure I'll get them, later down the line when people, get rid of them and they get like, flying cars and shit. I'll be the one driving the
hey,
nice
we're
car.
supposed to have flying cars 6 years ago. What the fuck happened?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Listen, let me just say, if that ever happened, the amount of destruction that would cause would just be insane. But yeah, I don't have back in the day when I had my Firebird, I had to start the motherfucker. I had no heat. So you know how you have the inside fucking
How do you have
phasing of
a
the
car in
ice?
this area with no heat?
Oh, because it was my baby. I didn't really care about the heat. It was more of like,
From
it was
from what you told me, you built that car?
well, I didn't really build the car. I bought the car from a guy who was from Lakewood, New Jersey, believe it or not.
Okay, yeah.
He was on the island. He was on the island. I found the car for $1,200. This was my first vehicle. Okay, now I wanted to buy it myself, and of course I saw it online, and it just happened. I was like, it was a Firebird. It was stick shift. I was like, this is me right here for $1,200. I think when I got it, it had 120,000 miles on it, maybe. So I bought it, and it was my little hoopty, but it was mine, and I fucking worked on it,
No, but you had some
and
pride. You had some pride in it.
yeah, it was mine. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if it wasn't the nicest thing on the fucking block, but listen,
Yeah.
I got attention. I liked it. It was me. And one day there was like a knocking in the motor. It finally, I was like, all right, I'm not gonna keep trying to put money in this car when I don't have it. So I parked it in my wife's mother's house in the garage, in the driveway, whatever, and I left it. It sat there for a while, and then eventually, hold on, I gotta take my Max, come here. And then eventually, I got my taxes back. I got a nice fat check. I was like, you know what? This year I'm buying a motor because that's what it needed. Bought the motor. I think I spent like
I heard those were expensive.
the motor
Not to
cost
be a
me.
dick, but
No, well, it wasn't that expensive. I think I spent what the fuck was it? Maybe $1,200 or some shit like that. In the
oh,
range
that's
of
not
that.
as much as I would think, to be honest.
No, it wasn't that much. It was like a replacement motor. It was a used motor. It had 60,000 on it, so it still had plenty of life. So I invited my wife's cousin down because I don't know how to swap out a motor. I mean, I could do an oil change. I could do,
That's a
minor
very
shit.
complicated job.
Yeah, it's not something that I could do myself while watching
The
YouTube
job
videos.
is probably more money than the motor.
Right. So I had him come down here for the weekend. We started on a Friday. By Sunday, we had that motherfucker cranked.
Nice.
Now, it still needed a little bit of work to just get her going. So it still sat in the driveway. I got a new clutch. I got a new rear end. I just like everything in the car that needed the car to move was essentially new. The body, and obviously wasn't new. It didn't really have too many dents in it, but it was nice. Everything was functioning the way it should have been functioning. And I had it on the road for fucking 3 weeks, or maybe a little more. Maybe I had it for like a month and
Don't
change.
tell me this is the car the alien took out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, see, that's why it fucked with me. You know what I'm saying? If you take out a car that, like, I don't give a shit about, I didn't invest in, whatever, I'll get another car. This car was a car that I was going to pass on to my son. Like, this was going to be in my possession until the day
Before
I die.
your son was even swimming around in your nutsack.
Right. This was the car that, no, I bought it while he was around.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I bought it after I had him. But it was my car. We went. I was part of a car
Well, that
club.
makes it even worse then, because your son was
Right,
already.
and that's what it was. It was a car I went to car meets with. I was part of a car club. Like we drove out to Jersey and shit. We this was like my life. I took him to car shows with me. Put his car seat in the back. Little bucket seats and shit. Like this was our car. You know what I mean? And the amount of time it took for somebody to just fucking take that and destroy it with all that time and just memories invested in it, it really fucking got to me, you know?
Well, because it was more than a car. It wasn't just something.
Right. I have a Firebird tattooed on my shoulder. That's how much it meant to me. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't just a car. It was part of the family. You know what I mean? Yeah, everybody misses that car. And it was mine. It was just something that I appreciated and I loved, you know, and it just got fucking taken away from me quicker than you could fucking say hello. But hey, so is life, and that's what happens. Shit happens. Eventually, I'll get another one, and you know.
I have. You can't see my plays, obviously, but I mean, you see it when I don't have the green screen. But I just put up a framed picture. I printed it out and framed it myself because I'm a DIY guy, like you are. But it's a saying I really like, and I think you'll appreciate this. And I think all the juice heads out there listening will appreciate this. It goes like this. Life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it.
That's very true. Yep. Yeah, and you know what's funny about that saying is you can tell what kind of person somebody is by how they react to certain stuff.
Yep.
But the small shit, if you get fucking like really pissed off over the small shit, then you need to check yourself. You know what I mean? Like, yes, do I wish that didn't happen to my car? Yes. Am I pissed off about it? Yeah, but you know, what am I gonna do? Cry about it until until someone gives me another one? Like, that's a Democrat. No, I'm gonna if I truly wanted one, you know, if I really like desire one, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna fucking get it.
Exactly.
I haven't got to that point yet. You know, eventually I'll get one. I know I keep saying that, but you know, what am I going to do? Cry over spilt milk? It's fucking spilled already.
You want a whore? I'll pick you up.
Even better, you'll build another one with your son.
Right, and he'll be able to help. Like,
and it'll be your car till he gets his license. Then it'll be his. Right. You know what I mean?
But the way I look at it now is my son will grow up, make fucking quintillions amount of money more than me, and fucking buy me.
Or that. Hey, I never even thought of that. Yeah, you're right.
I'm fine with that too. My son has a freaking IQ of like. What's his IQ at? 155 or some shit out of 160 or some bullshit like that?
He scored a 155 out of 160 on the statewide Mensa IQ testing at the age of 5.
Well, he is too.
Yeah, he's an absolute freaking genius. It scares me.
There's a math. What do they call it when they're good at math?
Yeah, I was good at math too.
Masturbators?
Oh, God, no. He's only 7.
Well, they'll probably be teaching about it in school real soon.
Yeah.
That's what these sick fucks want to do.
Well, not. Hey, at least you're in Florida. Florida is a sanctuary state for that kind of shit.
Yes, I hope that it stays that way. And I'm so glad we have Ron DeSantis as a governor. You have no idea.
I love him.
That man can do no wrong.
I liked him a lot when he was a congressman before he even ran for governor. And did you know he ran a really shitty campaign? Like, he barely squeaked it out. I was paying attention to that race.
I didn't really pay attention to that too much.
He didn't really, and you could ask any Floridian, he really didn't put much effort into like the last 2 weeks because he was down. He was going to lose to that guy that got caught smoking crack with the gay prostitute in the motel room. And
well, I'm sure that helped his cause.
No. That was after the fact. That happened like 6 months ago.
Shit.
No, but DeSantis knew he had Trump on his side, and Florida's a Trump state. I'm glad it worked out the way it did. But, dude, I was worried. And I don't know if you listen to Mark Levin. If not, you might like him. He's a very conservative dude. You may like him, you may not. I don't know. But I think you'd agree with him for the most part. But if DeSantis wants to run for re-election in, 23 or 22? He ran in 18, right? 18 or 19. But he's got it. I mean, look, now he's going to have a proven track record, right? So maybe he won't have to do shit to get reelected because he's been clearly, and I'm saying this up here in Jersey, he's been clearly the best governor in the whole state, in the whole country, for sure. would beyond a
Oh,
shadow.
yeah. As far as letting people be free and letting them live their lives, absolutely.
But also, but you're missing a big part of that. Also, keeping the fucking thing on a fucking, it's like a mirror on my fucking. I'm trying to do it like fucking on a down.
Yeah.
But yeah, like not only are you the most free state,
But your numbers are down.
cases are
Right. So,
like the
so their
lowest.
own logic, what he's doing is pointing out their own stupidity. So he's, and he's making it very clear and saying our numbers are down, yet we're not fucking put people in cages.
Correct.
I'm not saying, I'm saying mentally, you know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Like, we're not making people, yes, does it say you should wear your mask on the front of the store? Yes. Is anybody going to say you're not wearing your mask? Sometimes maybe, but for the most part, no. You know what I'm saying? And people are free to make that decision on their own. They recommend it. I don't give a shit what you recommend, but if I want to do what I want to do, you have no right to tell me I can't. And that's what this man has served in the military. He's a fucking, just a regular guy. You know what I mean?
I just thought he ran a shitty campaign. I'm glad he won. I was cheering for him. I'm just glad he won, because if you look into his campaign, it wasn't good. But
right.
I just got a really good idea. And when I get good ideas, I like to say them so I don't forget them. You know how we said our show we haven't finalized the idea for like our actual show yet. We said we might call it the Pizza Bagel Show.
Yeah.
What if somebody made a pizza and instead of putting the cheese like traditional, they put the cheese like in the Star of David? And that would be like the logo.
The Pizza Bagel Show.
It's just an idea. I like to get ideas out when I got them. Hey, we could try, dude. Think of many other ideas, dude. I think
it's the Jugini Show. It's the Ginjus. I know we're gonna call it the Pizza Bagel Show, maybe.
We're still brainstorming.
What they used to call our son.
Yeah, I know. They call my son the Pizza Bagel.
Why? Oh, your wife is Italian?
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Oh yeah, I'm a bad Jew. I didn't marry my own.
But you know what's fun? Did you know there's such a thing as Italian Jews?
Oh yeah, I'm sure there are.
But like that blew my mind when I first heard that, because I'm like, how could you be Italian and Jewish?
Because they probably converted. Once you convert, you're one of the chosen ones. You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter where you come from. There are Ethiopian Jews. There are fucking black Jews. There are all kinds of Jews. There are Asian Jews, for Christ's sake. I seen them. Once you convert, that's it. You're part of the chosen people. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what you look like. There ain't no discrimination in Judaism. You know what I'm saying? If you're a Jew, you're a Jew. Don't matter what you look like. It just matters who you pray to, and that's it. It's really all it boils down to.
Well, hey, we'll always agree on the First Testament.
Oh, absolutely.
Now I want you in the picture.
And that's almost our First Amendment right as well. You know what I mean?
Of course.
But now they're trying to change all that. They're trying to say, yeah, it's okay. Murder's okay if it's inconvenient for you. You know what I'm saying? If it's inconvenient for you, murder's perfectly fine. Even in the third trimester.
How about self-defense, asshole?
Right.
How about that?
Right. Do not steal. Okay, here comes the government. Let me take your money, man.
Well, I mean, the problem is, right now, honestly, Fat Jew, there's too many parallels between our government and Rome.
Right.
There's just too many parallels.
And I'd be fine with getting taxed, but I also want my tax dollars to go to, helping people who pay taxes. That's the whole fucking point.
The whole point of the federal government when it was established wasn't to centralize all the colonies, all the 13 colonies at the time. It was for common defense and welfare, so we could defend ourselves against another threat. And so if some shit went down, we could pool in our money together and take care of whoever needs help. There's no need for a Department of Education. And by the way, did you know the Department of Defense used to be called the Department of War, and they conveniently changed their name.
Of course. No, that's fine, man. Oh. I'm just hanging out in my trailer over here.
That's a nice 4-bedroom trailer you got
Yeah,
there.
right. It's the biggest fucking trailer I ever seen. Shit. Oh boy. Yeah, this shit is nuts.
All right, Fat Jew. Well, I'm going to call it a day in a minute here because we got through all our topics. We had a good show. And this is just what's trending. This ain't the Pizza Bagel Show.
I got you.
Up with another name.
Yeah, I gotta pick up some more green anyway.
So it was a very fun show. I was glad to have you on tonight. This is actually usually a solo show, but Friday for happy hour, I always do try to get a guest. Well, we did phone you in last week for happy hour, but it just wasn't the same.
Yeah, I got you.
So thank you for joining us. I think we're going to wrap it up here. If you have anything else to get off your chest.
I think we covered all the stupidity for one night. You know what I mean? I'm sure we'll have some more. Give it a couple days and there'll be more material because it's just the way the world works now.
All right. And Juice Heads, don't think this is the last you're going to see of the Fat Jew because we have a whole show coming up where should I spill the goods or should you spill the goods or should we make them wait?
I don't. It's up to you, bro. You can go for it. You can hold back. You know, it's your. You know, you're the one with the buttons, man. I don't do buttons. I don't do all that.
You know what?
That's you, bro.
We're gonna make him wait, but this guy. Wait till you see what we have in the works, and by we I mean him. But we're gonna present it together. Wait till you see. That's all I have to say. All right, well, Fat Jew, good night to you and your beautiful family down in Florida, down in beautiful Florida. Peace
Absolutely.
out.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Safe. Anytime, you got it. And remember, and thank you for coming on. And also remember, no glove, no love.
Hey, yes, sir.
Peace.
Peace, brother.